request you to raise your hands so that we'll answer your queries one by one. Okay, please raise your hand so that we'll get an indication like who wants to ask the question. Deepak, you are asking certain things while the session was going, so I'm unmuting you first. I'm going to unmute you first. So please come up with your question here. Deepak, you need to unmute yourself. Deepak, are you there? Deepak, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, so guys, if you want to unmute yourself, I think you can basically see within the go to training app, there will be just a mic button over there. So it will be coming up with a cross over there. Just click on it and it will automatically get, you will be automatically getting unmuted. So you can ask your question from there.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Deepak, I will be coming back to you. You are already unmuted from our end. Whenever you are ready, you please unmute yourself. You can speak out. Yeah, meanwhile, we'll take Ashish. Ashish, please go ahead.
Hi Manoj. Hi Raj.
Yeah. Hello Ashish.
Thank you Manoj for the nice overview session of Ariba. Actually, I have few questions here. Maybe in the interest of the candidates, I may not ask all questions right now, but I would ask few questions and then maybe I will come back for some questions later on. So probably my first question is, so right now in SAP in S4 HANA they are coming up with the central procurement solution. Okay, and central procurement solution, and as we know that S4 HANA is going to be on the cloud solution, and even the central procurement will be on the cloud. So so I got to I'm hearing from few colleagues from SAP labs that, and also from the Ariba colleagues, that down the line SAP may even stop Ariba solution because they are building their own central procurement solution to deal this solution or the capability which currently Ariba is having. So what is your take on this, Manoj?
Okay, so first of all, you need to look at SAP's roadmap. Now, if you look at SAP's roadmap, see, there is a lot of myth over there because people generally who is having a good idea on this part, they will not basically say this information. They will just keep mum on this particular point. So basically, the people who will look at the particular myth over there, so they will discuss it. But before that particular thing, just look at Ariba's, as not Ariba, just SAP's procurement roadmap over there for the next 5 to 10 years. If you look at it, S4 HANA is not a full-fledged cloud solution. You can say S4 HANA comes in two flavor. One is on-premise, another is on cloud. Now, if you go into the implementation phases with the clients over there, they are basically, SAP already know which particular version is the winner. 95% of the client who are basically moving to S4 HANA platform over there, so basically they are going into the on-premise. 5% or 6% of the client are basically moving on cloud. Why? Because ERP on cloud does not give any what you can say significant gain in process versus ERP which is on premise over there. Why? Because most of the master data are to be maintained in ERP, and if those master data are present within the cloud and maintaining those particular thing, it's a great deal of risk. That's the first thing. Second thing is like it's easier to maintain a ERP solution within the on-premise system only. But if you look at LOB, so SAP basically calls this kind of cloud solution as LOB, line of business. Ariba is the procurement. Okay, for the HR it is success factor. For the sales it is basically Hybris. Okay, so Concur is basically for the time and expenses and all those particular things. Fieldglass is basically for advanced services procurement. So these are all called as LOB. So if you look at Ariba's roadmap for the next 10 years or 15 years, what Ariba is saying is like we are having a ERP solution over there. We are going to give it in two flavor, but SAP already know that ERP on-premise is always going to be in touch. Now remove that ECC 6.0 to S4 HANA over there. Still it will be on premise. Very few clients are going to use on cloud, and those clients who are basically using on cloud, ERP, they are not basically going to use any of the LOB solutions because they're very few in number over there. That's the first thing. Second thing,
Mhm.
if you look at the, focus on the 95% of the customers of SAP, basically who will move to this S4HANA on-premise, and those who have already moved, they are going to use LOB solutions, which are basically cloud solution like Hybris, Ariba, and all those particular things. So if you look at Ariba over there, whether it's a central procurement or not, Ariba is going to basically survive on this part. Why? Because one is a ERP. ERP is a master of all, or basically you can say, a jack of all trades, master of none over there. Okay.
Mhm.
But if
Mhm.
you want to do a good procurement, if you want to do procurement from a much efficient point of view, Ariba is going to be the thing. Same thing. HD is also present within ERP over there, but the same amount of business process, if you want to do it in a very easy way, you have to go to Hybris. So that's the thing. So if you look at this particular whole architecture as well as their roadmap for the next 10 to 15 years, what they are basically saying is for ERP, we are going to let our customers move from ECC to S4 HANA. Most of them will
Mhm.
move into the on-premise, and for LOB solutions, basically we are going to branch them out to the different cloud solution which SAP has acquired them over there. So they are not competitive in nature, or you can say like competitive in nature, but basically you can say complementary in nature, which will complement each other.
Mhm. Mhm. So you mean to say that the central procurement solution which SAP is beta version is already released in the market, that
Mhm.
is basically taking care for S4 HANA
MM.
on-premise solution.
Exactly. So basically, that is no, not for the on-premise. See, think of it like MM is there, right? So MM is present in where? MM is present in ECC. Okay,
Mhm.
ECC in MM.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you come to the S4 HANA, what they are doing is that previously it was sourcing and procurement. Now basically what they are doing is like they are adding a little bit of new functional process, and they are calling it as central procurement. But actually it is procurement. If you look at this particular thing, this is nothing but procurement over here. Now the thing is like, how can they induce their customers who have not moved from ECC to S4 by giving all this particular thing? And S4 comes in two flavors. One is on premise, okay,
Mhm.
and another is on cloud over there. Okay, so it's not only for on premise or not only for on cloud over there. This is going to be present for both of them. But remember, it's just like MM is in ECC, similarly central procurement is in S4 HANA. So remember, it's just a one of the module within the S4 HANA over there. But remember, if you want to do LOB kind of procurement with the advanced procurement over there, with very much ease in process, and everything you want to do it advanced control, you want to do it on the procurement, then you have to use Ariba. So that is what SAP is focusing on. They have to basically move their client from ECC to S4 HANA. For that particular thing, they are doing this thing, but Ariba is going to stay over there. And I can say with lot of confidence over there, because let me tell you, I have a lot of friends, especially from the US side, because Ariba is not generally handled from Germany. They are basically generally handled from the US over there. So basically, those guys are actually product development manager. So right now, SAP is planning to keep Ariba for the next 15 years at least. Then they are going
Mhm.
to basically think about it. Why? Because right now they are not going to go ahead, just like from ECC to S4 HANA they went, right? They are not going to move ahead with S4 HANA to something other version. So that is what they are looking for. This, they are basically looking for a hybrid solution where S4 HANA mostly will be used by the cloud, client by the on-premise things, and LOB will be based on the on cloud versions over there.
Okay. And if we have S4 HANA on cloud, then also Ariba can be used.
Exactly. It can be used, but same way over there. You have to remember, helicopter is a very fast thing. But remember, helicopter can be used only in urgent thing. Why? Because it's expensive to maintain over there. Similarly, if you want to move the S4 HANA to on cloud, one of the major issue which all of your client will face is like, what the big clients will do. They will take the ERP and they will modify it like anything, right? with their
Yeah.
technical consultant over there. Now, if you move to on-cloud solution on S4HANA, so immediately SAP will basically say source code belongs to us. Why? Because you are not using your own server. That means you cannot change anything. So tell me how many clients will be, they can use procurement with the standard things with some amount of configuration. But how many of your client is going to basically say only 25 to 30% of customization is allowed for ERP? Are they going to agree to that? I don't think so.
But Manoj, what I'm seeing is currently like most of the clients nowadays, what they're doing is they are going with S4 HANA implementation from ECC 6.0 to S4 HANA, and they are doing the installation on Azure cloud.
Yeah.
So this is a kind of a, I can say it's like kind of a hybrid scenario, right?
No. This is not a hybrid scenario. This is basically called as private cloud over there. This is not public cloud. So
Okay.
still, it's still, it's on cloud over there. So they can do some customization, but up to a limit over there. They cannot breach a certain percentage over there. So most of the big companies, if you go, you will see 80%, 75% of the customization is in ERP. They cannot achieve it on cloud, whether it's on private or on public, does not matter.
So for these kind of customers, if they want to move their procurement from SRM, for them central procurement is good or
Exactly.
Ariba.
Exactly. Now remember over here, here you have to remember and SRM was never it was never in conflict with each other, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So Ariba is basically a replacement for SRM. SRM is an on-premise solution, so they are replacing this on-premise procurement with that of a on-cloud procurement over there. So basically, central procurement is not a replacement for SRM; it's a replacement for in ECC side, right? Now because ECC is being replaced by S4 HANA, so is being replaced by central procurement over there. Ariba, on the other hand, is basically replacement of SRM. And if you ask any pre-sales consultant who are coming from SAP side over there, and you ask them, is central procurement a replacement for SRM? They will immediately say no. It's a replacement for So what is the replacement of SRM? Ariba. That is what the roadmap of Ariba is. SAP is there for the next 15 years.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now coming to a content question, Manoj. So in your notepad, you had shown if you go up a little bit.
Yeah.
In the sourcing part, you showed tendering, RFI, RFP, and auction. RFI, RFP, auction. So I will compare with SRM. So in SRM, we have both bidding as well as auction feature functionality. So do we have bidding functionality in Ariba?
Bidding is basically what? RFI or RFP, right? RFI means bidding means what? It can be a technical bidding or it can be a price bidding or both,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Same thing over here is coming in the RFI or in RFP format. So these are only the bidding process. So always remember, bidding process basically means what? At the end of the day, it's tendering.
Correct.
So yes, it is available also here in Ariba. The only terminology is RFI. Even if you go to SRM, it is called as RFX. X is for
RFX,
I.
yes.
Yeah, X is for I whenever you are doing a information, and whenever you are doing a Q, that is request for quotation. That means when you will ask for the price, that is called as RFQ. So replace the RFQ with RFP, and RFI is equal to RFI only over here.
Okay. And what about the two bid or the envelope bidding option for the public sector functionality SRM had? Is
No,
that
not
functionality?
directly. Not directly. Indirectly, it has. Ariba also has the concept of envelope. You can basically use envelope over there, but this will depend upon your configuration in the template. You have to enable that configuration. But the only thing is like which all of you have to keep in mind is like it's not one after another. So basically, in one phase, that is in the response, when supplier is giving the quotation over there, so what they will do is like they will give the technical response also over there, price response also they can do. You can remove the technical response, that's a different thing, but both can be given. So it's not generally one after another, but both can be submitted at the same time, and when you are going to open, it will open at the same time. So the only issue which you're going to face is RFI first, RFP next. Basically, if you want to do it, that means technical opening first, then price opening. So that particular thing cannot be done within the RFP itself. The particular solution which I have given is from RFP. But if you want to do it like that, you can do it in a very simple way. First, do the RFI. Okay, then basically take all the information from the RFI and move to an RFP over there. So that means basically in RFI you have done the technical bidding, and in RFP you're going to do the price bidding. So instead of two-part bidding in a same document, two documents will be created, one for technical, and from there basically you can create a price bidding. So you can say that both of the things can be done. It depends upon your configuration options. So if you know how to do the configuration template within the sourcing part, you can do it.
Okay, Manoj. My another query is, does Ariba has the functionality of clause library and contract authoring? I'm comparing here with the e-sourcing functionality of
It is
CLM
present over
on
there.
e-sourcing.
Yeah, it is already present over there. But remember, the only issue is like those things are only present in DFS. In ECA, the funny thing is like, there is a different way of using this particular thing. You will see in ECA there will be different way. Why? Because you have to work with the Word file over there. This is not, in basically if you're working in SAP products over there, can you open up a Word file over there and do any changes within the system? No. So that is why you are having a clause library and all those things. Same thing is also, same limitation is also present in DFS. But in ECA, the major functionality is like you change the thing within the document Word file, and those Word file will be automatically uploaded in the system over there. So that is why in ECA they have basically simplified the process over there. So in ECA right now, if you go over there, clause library is not directly used here. Basically a document integration with Word file and Excel file is done over here.
So I'm not talking about the contract document attachment. I'm talking about more from the clauses in terms of like based on different plant company code, you can set up different conditions, right?
That particular thing, yes, that particular thing can be done within the template configuration itself. That means basically you are saying there are 100 basically terms and condition, and what I'm going to do is like first 40 conditions, first 40 clauses, that means terms and condition, is going to appear when region is equal to India. The next 60 will be appearing when region is equal to US and commodity code is equal to desktop. This kind of thing can be done within the template. So that is why I said ECA configuration is totally different from DFS. Why? Because DFS is mostly kind of that of ERP over there, but ECA template configuration is totally different, and here you have to know each of this particular option.
Okay. So you mean to say that you can upload all the clauses at one go, and then when I'm
control
creating
their
the
visibility.
when I'm creating the contract document, at that time the process is smart enough to pick the correct document automatically.
The process will automatically pick it. Why? Because we have done the configuration within the template. See, I have given the option, right? Region is equal to India. The second option is region is equal to US and commodity code is equal to desktop. So when you're creating the contract, if region is equal to India, the first 40 conditions will be picked. And if the region is equal to US and the commodity code is equal to desktop, the next 60 condition is only going to be visible. But this will depend upon your configuration.
Not only visibility, not only the visibility, even the document which will be received by the supplier, he should get that correct document. So the document generation.
See, first of all, document generation. Remember, document generation over here in ERP or basically SAP and Ariba is totally different. You will see that when you will go to the contract over there, it's not like that of ERP or SAP over there. Why? Because here you are getting the document directly from the template itself, and there only you are basically attaching the condition. So here Ariba, what they will say is like, if the input is correct, then you do some data operation, the output will always be correct. But if the input is not correct, then basically you have to do a lot of configuration to control the output. So that is why Ariba's methodology in ECA, that means the enhanced contract authoring, is very simple. Put all the filters before the input. Now if the file which is coming at the input level is correct over there, whatever data processing you are going to do it, the result will always be correct.
Okay, means in the end, even the document generation would be dynamic. The
Exactly.
output, the contract output document which will be received by the supplier will be the correct output.
Exactly. No, not only that. At the input level only, the base document is correct over there. Okay. So if the base document is correct over there, you are going to add some more contract specific terms and condition. That's a different thing. Once you add it, but remember the document which is coming over there, it is by default coming as correctly over there. You don't have any issue over there. Why? Because if the input is correct, output will always be correct. So here Ariba has used this particular terminology in ECA. Why? In SAP, it's a reverse engineering kind of thing. So that is why they have to do a lot of configuration to control each and everything.
Okay. Okay, Manoj. I have few questions more. Maybe for the interest for other participants, I will come later. Manoj. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. Welcome.
Akshay. Yeah, Akshay, please go ahead.
Hi Manoj, hi Raj.
Yeah, hi.
I have a lot of questions, but I will restrict it to three. I'm from SAP background and having three plus years of experience. And will this course be beneficial for me? And add on to this, how can I relate SAP Ariba with my previous experience, like having knowledge of S4 HANA and ECC?
Okay.
And
So first of
what type of configurations are there in Ariba? Hello.
Okay. Yeah, Akshay. So basically, let me just answer your first query first. Okay, first question. Then we are going to take your second question. Okay. Meanwhile, so first of all, MM knowledge you're having, that's very good, and this is a very good question which you've asked. And let me answer to you, not only to you Akshay on this part, but this is the answer to every participant who are basically participating in our session. So if you are having knowledge in your MM, well and good, but remember, the knowledge will be up to a certain level on the process. The configuration which you have done in MM is totally worthless over here. Why? Because the architecture of MM over there and the architecture of Ariba, I think within the overview session only you have understood that it's totally different. It's totally different. So what will happen is, like, you can say the process flow knowledge from the MM side will help you in learning Ariba over there, but you have to think of it like, okay, only the process flow knowledge, rest of the configuration, how you're going to design the solution, how you're going to configure these solutions within Ariba over there, this particular thing, if you're focusing on, so you have to learn from scratch over there. Why? Because Ariba uses different technology, it uses different architecture over there.
Okay, like P2P knowledge is beneficial for me from MM background.
Exactly. See, it's not only P2P. You can say sourcing, contracting. Yeah. Akshay, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, Akshay, what basically I'm saying over here is like, yeah. Thanks, Akshay, for your confirmation. So basically, Akshay, what I'm saying is like, if you are having knowledge on the MM side, then on the process flow side, both in upstream and downstream, you are having good knowledge over there. It's not an issue. This is what you will find common between Ariba and MM over there. But the configuration, the designing, and all these things, this particular thing you have to learn in Ariba from scratch, and not only for you, for any MM consultant who basically, or SRM consultant, they want to move into Ariba over there, they have to learn the designing of solution, the configuration of solution, the integration of solution as totally different. So you have to learn all these three things from the scratch over there.
Okay, and what is in like how we move the data in Ariba? Like, is there in TR process? Is there
No. In Ariba,
different things are
basically,
there?
not data. You can say like how to move the configuration changes. So in Ariba, there is no concept of transport request. Yeah. So there is no concept of transport request. Why? Because TR or transport request is basically part of your on-premise solution when you are having on-premise solution. Here, basically, you will see when we will go to the template configuration and all those particular things, there will be an option to import the changes or import the config over there. Sorry, export it over there. So we will export it from one system and we will import it into another system over here. That's the first thing over there. Data we have to do configuration in a different way. That means if we are having development system, we will connect it with the ERP system to do the integration. Integration is a totally different thing. If you are basically asking how to move the configuration changes from one Ariba system to another system, that is basically you have to export the configuration changes in one file, one zip file, and then import those particular changes into another Ariba system over there. In this way, your configuration can move from one Ariba system to another Ariba system. If you're talking about integration, then basically for your development system, you have to basically connect your development Ariba system with that of development ERP system. Same for the quality, same for the production.
Okay. And one more question. You said there is only PO, nothing special like subcontracting. Nothing is that. How there any number ranges for the PO, GRN,
Number,
and PR?
For every transactional document, you will have a number range over there that has standard number range. You can basically change the number range also as per your requirement.
Okay. That's it for me. I have a lot of questions, but I'll ask it later on.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Akshay.
Satish?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Satish, yeah, would you please go ahead with your question? You need to unmute yourself, Satish.
Satish, I think you need to unmute yourself from the GoTo Training app over there.
Yes, you have unmuted. You can speak out now. Yeah, please go ahead, Satish. Okay, I think if you are having any microphone issue, you still can type your query in the chat window over there. So that, yeah, we can hear you now. Please go ahead. Satish?
Hello, Satish?
I think he's having some issue with, yeah. Hi, Satish.
No, Iraj, I think he's still having some issue, I think, over there. Why? Because we are not able to hear him. So, Satish, you can do one thing. Just type in your query within the chat box. I think if there is some issue with your microphone, what will happen is like, your voice won't be able to, audible to us over there. So you can just type in your query in the chat box over there. We are going to read your query and we are going to answer you back over there. Or else you can connect with a new microphone over there.
Yeah. So meanwhile, if anyone else are having any queries, please raise your hands, guys. We are open to answer any type of your question. Yeah, Rachna. Yeah, Rachna, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Manoj. This is Rachna here. So I have two queries. I've spoken about Ariba to few people. So they, mentioned that Ariba has a very less scope for customization. Like in SAP, when we are working in SAP, we have like full option to customize as per the requirements coming from the client. But here in Ariba, I have heard most of the customization, Ariba does not gives you full authorization to the customer for customization. Ariba itself does the customization. So
No,
is it so about it?
actually, Rachna, it's not true over there. I will say this thing. Why? Because see, like let's say you are a batsman, right? Okay, so if you are used to batting in the Indian subcontinent region over there, you will say, okay, this is a very good batting pitch over there, right? Now once you go to the Australia or England region over there, so there will be a lot more lot more grass over there, so you will face a lot of challenge. So what you have to do is like you have to basically change your technique to bat over there. Same thing over there. See, whenever basically ERP consultant, or that means SAP consultant, is basically moving into Ariba, what they are thinking is like this is basically a product which has been developed by SAP Labs using the same what you can say, same way of configuration, same technology, same architectures. Okay, so what they are expecting is like their expectation is like whatever I have done in MM or in SRM before, in the same way we are going to do it in Ariba. But then again, it will fail. Why? Because right now the pitch is having lush green grass over there and the ball is swinging like anything over there, so you have to take all this thing in the account and then you have to bat over there, right? So the same thing over here, the technology is different, the architecture is different over there, so you have to take this thing in your account and then you have to move. I will tell you over there, Rachna, that the same thing also came in my first project and second project in my mind. Third project, my eye was opened literally by this solutioning part. Then I understood, and basically you will also understand one thing over here, that Ariba gives us, that means Ariba
Mhm.
functional consultant, a lot more power to configure everything. But we have to know where is that particular configuration option, how it is going to change the business process over there. You will see, excuse me, most of the configuration can be done by us. Even in our session, we will tell you this kind of issue is coming. So most of the time,
Mhm.
normal Ariba consultant will say, hey, we cannot do this configuration because that is not available. And I will show you that configuration. It is available over there in the system, but only you have to understand where you can find that particular kind of thing. So yes, if you need to change a source code, like adding a custom field in the database, now that particular thing we cannot do. Why? Because we don't have access to it.
Mhm.
Because it's a server which is, or data center is being made by, maintained by SAP Ariba itself, so they will not give access to it. That particular thing we cannot do. But tell me, Rachna, over here, not only for you but for everybody in your project, okay, custom, addition of custom field, creation of custom field, very good, will be there. But is it the only thing which is there in your project?
No, it's not that the only thing
Exactly.
we have in mind.
Yeah. So basically, what we have to do is, like, we have to implement the business process and we have to do it. So yes, I do agree with you that 10% of the technical things, like creation of custom field, addition of custom field, some validations, okay, extra validations
Mhm.
which will require source code changes, that 10 to 12% of the thing has to be handled by SAP Ariba. But 88% of the thing will be within our hand. So in this sense, I will say 88% of the things can be done by the Ariba functional consultant with the help of configuration. Okay, and the 12% of the things, or 10% of the thing, that has to be done by SAP Ariba support team. So yes, you're correct. 12% of the thing will be done by SAP Ariba support team.
Mhm.
88% of the thing will be done by us.
Okay, so that means like for a functional consultant, or like as I'm a functional consultant basically. So for a functional
Exactly.
consultant, as an IT consultant, there is like huge scope for getting involved with different requirements and customizations to be done in
there
Ariba.
is there is no huge scope. You can say basically we are the only one in the
Oh,
project. There is no basis consultant, no security consultant, no technical consultant. 12% of the work we will basically outsource to basically the Ariba shared team over there. 88% of the work will be us. So you will be having 3 to 4 Ariba consultant in one project. These are the guys who will working from the service provider. That's it.
okay, okay. And like my second question regarding the content which we went through regarding reporting. So reporting, we will be learning this in like upstream part or downstream part, or is it like different?
Reporting is a mixture of both. It's a kind of like, khichdi. Okay, khichdi basically means what, a mixture of everything over there, right? So same thing over here. Reporting, basically you can say it's a mixture of both upstream as well as downstream. So that is why you will see reporting, when I will be doing, first I will complete the upstream, then I will complete the downstream, then we will go into the reporting section. Then only it will make sense over there.
Okay, okay, yeah. Okay, then. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Rachna.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks, Rachna.
Ahmed is waiting for so long. Yeah, Ahmed, please go ahead.
Hi Manoj, just
Yeah,
on the
hello, Ahmed.
integration. Hi,
Yeah,
Raj. Just
Yeah,
on the
I,
integration part of the Ariba with S4 or any backend,
yeah.
what is the technology that we would be using for integration?
Now this particular thing, I know there is a lot of things, because most of the Ariba consultant right now, they will say CIG, Cloud Integration Gateway, for using the integration over there. But you will see, remember in our session we will see a little bit on CI9 also, we will also see CIG also, and then we are going to do a versus CI9 versus CIG. You will see in certain section, CI9 is pre-optimized more than CIG. In another certain scenarios, CIG is much more pre-optimized than CI9. So both of these
uh,
things we are going to understand over here.
Ahmed, would you be on mute, please, because the sound is getting echoed. So when you are having, want to speak. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, please, Manoj.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Siraj, and thanks, Ahmed, over here. So basically, this is what we are going to see, CNN and CIG both.
The other question, I'm slightly confused regarding Ariba network buyer or supplier and Ariba buyer. So there are two. So in a technical way, there are two different HTTPs, and where does Ariba network actually sits in? Is it a consolidated place for all the supplier list to be managed in a single place for a particular buyer, or is it more a open world network?
Okay, so first of all, for the time being in today's session, I don't want to basically confuse you over here, Ahmed. So basically, I want to keep it in a very simple way. For today's session, you can think of it like Ariba network is a portal where basically supplier will log in, and once they log in over there, they can see all the transactional document which has been addressed to them. They can view it. They can create a response against all this particular transactional document, and they can also basically carry out their transactional activities against those particular transactional document which has been sent by the buyers. This is Ariba network. That is the main meaning of what you can say Ariba network. But yes, why I have talked about another thing, that is Ariba network is currently having 3.6 million suppliers. This is a very big repository on the certain other things, because I am saying of Ariba network with respect to Ariba discovery over there. So when we will go to the sourcing, not sourcing, actually onboarding of supplier phase, at that particular point of time, I will say that Ariba network can be used to do what? To basically onboard new supplier if you want. So that is why I said 3.6 million suppliers already present over there. If you want to onboard some new suppliers, you can use Ariba network to view all the other things. But remember, that cannot be done in login into supplier.ariba.com. So supplier.ariba.com, that is Ariba network, will be used by the supplier to do the login and carry out their own transactional activities. But another feature of Ariba network is integrated within the Ariba discovery, where you can onboard new suppliers and you can basically deal with them. That is why I said two different things over here. So another thing is Ariba discovery, one is Ariba buyer over there. Sorry, Ariba network over there.
So is Ariba an umbrella, or is it
Ahmed, can you just repeat your query once?
is Ariba then is just an umbrella covering Ariba buyer and Ariba network or Ariba supplier?
So basically you can say one of the application, just like when you will basically buy a Google Suite application, what you will get over there, you will basically get G Drive access, you will get Gmail access over there, you will get map access, all these particular things, right? So if you talk about Ariba access, so if you're talking about Ariba access, so within the Ariba access, you can say Ariba buyer is one, Ariba network is one. These are all basically different application for the whole Ariba ecosystem. That's it. But remember, Ariba network is used by the supplier, Ariba buyer is basically used by the buyer over there.
So just from the cloud side, is this private cloud, or is it treated as a public cloud?
No, first of all, remember, this is this is not from a S4 HANA perspective. See, in S4 HANA, you can say it's a public cloud or a private cloud over there. But remember, in this scenario, Ariba does not give the option for private cloud or public cloud over there. Ariba will maintain all this particular server over there, and basically you have to buy extra storage if you want to create more transactional document within your Ariba buyer system. You have to buy extra storage. But remember, you will not have any ownership for that particular data center. Yes, you will be having the ownership of the data over there, the configurations over there, and for the services also over there. But remember, or you can consume the services, but remember, ownership of data center cannot be there. So that is why the concept of public versus private cloud does not come in Ariba. It is only present in S4 HANA over there.
So when we buy the Ariba product, is it again? It's a realm based, right? So, and then it has got the whole dev, QA, and then prod. Is there a limitation on getting the number of realms, or is it based upon the licensing?
No. Becomes, basically you have to remember that Ariba is an on cloud thing over there, right? So it's an on cloud thing. That means it's subscription over here is very different from Ariba, from ERP over there. So Ariba subscription basically depends on the solution which the client is buying, the number of document which is going to be created over there, because as it is going to take the space within their own data center. Okay, that's the second thing. And third is number of sites. So you can have 20 number of sites or 50 number of sites if your client is willing to pay that particular kind of money. So generally it is 2 to 3 maximum site basically which will be used by most of the client. Okay, and if they want to go ahead with 5-10 also, they can go ahead, but remember they have to pay much more. So it's totally depend upon the client how much money they are willing to spend over there. So based on these three factors, Ariba will charge the subscription fee to the client.
So if we have to do any kind of data migration into Ariba, then by the licensing part of it is just the
No, data
bare.
migration, basically you're talking about movement of master data or transactional data, and from where? From ERP only, right?
So in any transition project from ECC 6.0 to S4HANA and S4HANA on-prem using Ariba as the procurement to S2P as the process as a product that they want to use, then in that case they will be moving all their vendors, they will be moving their POs, IRs, GRs. So
Okay,
that sort of
so
data
basically
migration.
remember, so basically you're talking about both master data integration and transactional data integration. So remember, it has to be in two-way format. The first one is initial, the second one is incremental over there. Okay, excuse me. Now remember over here, Riam, basically, yes, you can do it over there. So what you will do is like one system you're having for development. So in that case, the one development system of Ariba will connect to the ERP development system. One you're having for quality, it will connect to the ERP quality system. One you will be having for production, it will connect to the what you can say, like the quality system of production system of ERP over there. That's the first thing. Now second thing, if you are saying that I will have 9-10 VMs over there, so in that case you must have that many number of instances of ERP over there. Now you are having 3 instances of development, so basically you can create 3 different VMs for development, Ariba development. One Ariba development one Ariba development site will basically connect with one of your ERP instance development. Like this, it can connect with multiple, one Ariba Riam can basically connect with one instances. So you can basically create as many number of instances in Ariba which you want, depending on the ERP instances you will have. So in this way, basically you're going to move. The what you can say, like if you're looking at the data integration over there, the master data will always basically come in the parent realm. From there, it will basically flow into the child realm. And if you're looking at the integration of transactional data, integration of transactional data will always happen with the child realms over there rather than parent realms. Why? Because if you look at master data integration versus transactional data integration, it will always be cross variant specific data with that of general data over there. Site specific data over there.
Would we be covering all the integration points for with the backend ECC or S4
No,
using this?
we are not basically covering the Riam concept over there. Why? Because Riam concept, as I told all of you before, that this is a very important thing. But remember, this used to be part of our things in 2015-16. Right now, none of the client basically who is going ahead with implementation, they are moving ahead with Riam. Why? Because they will not have different ERP instances over there. So if you're not having different ERP instances, the concept of Riam will not work. And if you're using one development system, one quality system, one production system, there will be no concept of parent and child realms at all.
So we'll not be covering that.
Yeah, it's not required over there right now in the project. Yes, if you were in 2016 or 15, at that point of time we could have covered it. Why? Because it was required. But in right now, if you look at, not right now, actually 2 years previously, if you look for it, there is no implementation like this which has happened where basically you are going to use realm based of thing. Yes, some minor things will happen, but when you have to prepare yourself, you have to look at the majority of the thing, that is the mainstream projects over there. Yeah, so that is what we are going to cover.
No, integration is going to cover. I want to make it
Yeah.
clear. Of
Integration
course,
is going to be covered. Yes, integration is going to be covered.
well,
But
people
realm
when
integration, yes, yeah, those things is not required. Realm and all those particular thing is not required right now from the particular project point of view.
I think I've got a couple of more questions. I'll hold for now and I'll speak later.
no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there are a couple of questions in the chat window, Manu. So if you read it
Yeah.
and answer, it would be better.
Okay, CIG we discussed. Yes, we will be discussing over there. Okay, integration scenario. Yes, there are a lot of integration scenario, guys. S2P is one of them. P2P is one of them. There are a lot of integrations. So we are also going to discuss about this particular thing. You have to also remember integration scenario is not only based on the what you can say, like only the scenario. It is also based on the solutioning part. That means upstream solutions or downstream solutions. So all of these things we are going to cover over here. Okay, and movement of configuration from one system to another, generally it is done by Ariba functional consultant, unless and until whenever your client has basically signed one thing. What do you mean by sign one thing over there? So basically your client has signed something with your what basically with your Ariba service provider, that please take care of the transport of the configuration from one system to another system. So in that case you don't have to do it, but if they have not signed it, then we have to do it, as I said, by the export and import over there. Okay, no, SCC, basically SCC is a different basically guys, that's a different training altogether, that is generally coming in advanced Ariba over there. So my suggestion to all of you guys is to first learn about the normal Ariba over there, work in the normal Ariba projects, gain knowledge in that particular thing. Why? Because if you right now look for the current market over there, all these particular advanced things like RIAM, SCC, field glass, Fieldglass is not part of Ariba. It's a different solution altogether over there. So these are basically coming into the excuse me, advanced part of Ariba over there. But first, my suggestion to all of you guys is get a normal Ariba project, start implementing them. Once you are having at least 1.5 to 2 years of exposure in that particular thing, then you can come for the advanced things. That's the first point. Second point is like remember over here right now, if you look at the market over there, 84 to 85% of the market is still on normal Ariba. Only 15% of the market is still in advance. And that particular thing, yes, it is going to grow over there, but slowly over there. So yes, by 2025, you can say that 15% will go to 45%, but 25 is 5 years from now on. Plenty of time. Look at the normal thing first, then go into the advanced things. Exactly.
Yeah, is there any more questions, guys? So you can raise your hands so that we'll be okay. So we can take up some repetitive questions then. Yeah, Ashish.
Yeah. Hi, Manoj. Hi, Raj.
Yeah. Ashish.
Yeah. I have few more questions, Manoj. So you
Yeah.
talked about the transport of the TR into production,
Yeah.
or is taken generally by the Ariba colleagues, SAP Ariba colleagues. Is taken care by the SAP Ariba colleagues, not like in normal ERP projects where this is done by the implementation partner itself. Correct?
No. As I said, it depends upon the contract which has been signed between your client as well as Ariba over there. So in that particular contract, generally most of the time what will happen is like whenever the multinational companies, they will go ahead with Ariba implementation, they will say, okay, we are going to pay 2000 more to Ariba over there, and Ariba is going to move all the transport changes from one development system to another development system and another system over there. So in that case, what will happen is like we don't have to do anything as a functional consultant over there.
Okay.
But if they have not done this thing, yes, some of the things will be done by our Ariba shared services members over there. Okay, so they will do some activity, but most of the other things is like we have to basically export this thing and import this thing to the another Ariba system over there. So that is, you can say 30% of the thing will be done by the Ariba shared services over there. 70% of the thing will be done by us if your client is not signing anything with Ariba over there. But if they are signing, 100% will be done with the Ariba shared services over there.
Okay, so we will be covering also the transport movement. How do we do in Ariba from
Exactly,
development?
it's a very easy thing. It's a very thing. You will see that you're just clicking on one option and you're clicking on the export. A zip file is coming over there. Then you go to another system. That means in the production, only thing is like you will get import option over there rather than export over there. Just import it, done.
Okay, okay. And what about the data loads in the production Ariba system is again taken care by the shared Ariba
No,
team,
no,
or
no,
is
no.
it done?
It will be done by us. It will be done by us.
Okay, okay, okay.
Mass data load
Now,
is always part of our role over there, or basically our activity. It falls within our activity.
okay. Uh, now I have a question regarding the supplier where you mentioned about the ANID concept. So like in normal, if you have a global ERP instance, right?
Yeah,
So generally we have a concept of partner, maintaining partner for the vendors.
yeah,
Generally the company will keep one vendor number. Let's take an example. If we have a Dell supplier, Dell US,
yeah,
Dell UK supplier, then the vendor number would be the single vendor number, but we can
yeah.
have different partners for the same vendor in ERP.
Yeah.
Now, same
So
thing,
in
how if you,
Ariba also it is done over there. Remember, what will happen is like you will have the same ANID for the particular supplier over there, but they will have separate login. Just like Accenture services over there. Accenture
Mhm,
services or Accenture Global Services Private Limited is basically your uh, supplier over there. Then you will have Accenture UK, Accenture US, Accenture India. So
mhm.
all these three contact person will have separate email over there. They will have separate logins, but their ANID will be same as that of Accenture over there. So these are generally called as the contact person concept over here in Ariba. So partner is equal to contact person in Ariba over there from the supplier point of view.
Okay. So, but when the buyer is creating the purchase order, then
Yeah,
if he wants to create, let's say for Dell US, then he
yeah.
would choose a different vendor number in Ariba, and if he
Nah,
wants to
nah,
create
nah,
for
nah,
Dell
nah,
UK,
nah.
then he will
So
choose
in that
different.
case, no, in that case, you have to use the concept of contact person, right? So this is where your configuration comes into the picture, that how you're configuring the solution over there. So the contact person, you have to set it correctly over there. You have to put a condition over there, and then that particular condition, when you are setting it up, it should pick up
Mhm.
automatically based on the region.
Okay. Okay. No, but my point is in the system, in the Ariba system itself,
Yeah,
will there
yeah.
be two different vendor codes for Dell
No,
US
only
and
one
Dell
vendor.
UK?
No, 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 no. There will be one vendor code over there. As I said, Accenture is there, right? So
Yeah.
if your buyer is from UK over there, based upon that, the proper contact person will over there come. Accenture Global Services, then hyphen Accenture UK. If the buyer is from UK region over there, if they're ordering the PO. Similarly, if the buyer is from India, Accenture Global Private Services Limited hyphen Accenture India. Like this, it will come.
Okay. Okay. So they will have the same ANID. Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at this particular thing, if you look at the supplier profile, you will see that particular supplier is having one supplier only. Within the one supplier, you will see multiple contact person. You log in into Ariba network over there as the main supplier as well as the contact person over there. You will see the same ANID coming over there.
Okay. 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 Now I'm coming to the question of Manoj about the parent and the child RAM concept. So
Oh yeah,
for like in my company, we have a global ERP system. We have a multiple
yeah,
ECC6, and now we are going for S4HANA implementation.
yeah.
Okay. Now,
The first issue which you're going to face over there is like I will tell you over there, because in S4 HANA there is no multiple instances. There is one single database within which you have to basically move on over there. So yes, this is the first challenge which all of you are going to face over there, is like moving from ECC. Multiple instances will be there, you are covering it into one system over there, right? So within S4 HANA, you have to basically design the solution in such a way that whenever some user is coming from a particular region or particular what you can say geographic location over there, some specific configuration should be put in the place through which the business validation, geographical based business validation will work over there. That's the first thing. That's the first thing which you have to basically do when you're moving from ECC to S4 HANA. That's the first thing. Second thing is, like, once you've done that particular thing, all the Ariba realms which you're having, you have to cancel it out. You will have only development, quality, and production system over there. So basically, all of these things will, development system will connect with the S4 HANA development, quality, Ariba quality system or site over there will basically connect with the quality S4 HANA, and the production will connect with the production over there. So that is why I'm saying the child and parent realms, basically that particular thing has been made obsolete by Ariba. Why? Because your ERP is having a single instance and single database over there. So the parent and child relationship is of no use over there. And remember, this particular thing, you should not handle it from Ariba point of view. This thing will be handled from a S4 HANA point of view over there. So that is why whenever you have to do this particular solution over here, keep this thing in your mind. These things has to be handled from the S4 HANA side, not from the Ariba side.
So meaning there will be only a single realm over here.
Exactly. One realm for development, one realm for quality, one realm for production.
Yeah, this is fine, Manoj. But what about the parent and the child relationship? Like for the child relationship,
it won't be there.
Okay,
It won't be there.
But like as you mentioned, right, child realm is generally when we have a global ERP setup, then every child realm is required equivalent to.
No. It's not global realm. If you are having multiple ECC instances, like in development, if you are having 3 instances for development, what will happen? So then you have to use the parent and child relationship. But if you are having one ECC system, you are not having multiple instances, because in S4 HANA there is no multiple instances, only one system is there for development, one for quality, one for production. So you don't have the concept of different master data, different child setup over there. See, remember, cross variant data and site specific data will only come into the picture when you are having multiple data from multiple instances over there. You don't have that particular thing over here. So that is why there no concept of parent realm and child realm will come. Only one system will be present over there, and you will see that thing when you log in into Ariba over there at the top. You won't see any parent or child realms over there.
Okay. I mean, the setup is different if we have a parent and child realm setup.
Yeah,
in case
setup. Remember, it has to be different. Why? Because your ERP setup is different, right? So this particular thing is not Ariba specific thing. This is basically a limitation from ERP concept. Now, if you are using ECC 6.0 and there you are having multiple instances, this will happen over there. But as we know that most of the client is moving towards the S4 HANA, so there you don't have multiple instances, so single instance is there. So this concept of child realm and parent realm, this particular concept is totally obsolete when you will move to S4 HANA over there.
Okay, Manoj. Okay, got it. My Manoj, next question is about the qualification of the supplier in the SLP process. You mentioned that after the qualification of the supplier is done, it will be replicated to downstream.
Yeah.
So this replication to downstream, it happens automatically, or is there any kind of a batch up? Okay, it happens
it will happen automatically. Yeah, automatically, because there is a batch job over there. We don't have to schedule that particular batch job. That's a standard batch job over there. That particular batch job will take care of all this thing.
Okay. But before that, you mentioned that when we are doing the data loads, so generally we have the ECC or S4 HANA integration in place, right? And most of the customers will generally replicate their existing vendors into Ariba process.
Yeah.
Now, when we do this, so will they replicate in the downstream, or will they replicate to the upstream?
Now that's a very good question, and that particular answer I cannot give it in a what you can say in a very small thing. I can say yes, It will be there, but if you ask me how, so in that case, we have to basically go through all the steps of SLP mass data load, then only you will understand. But the answer is yes.
So I mean, both in the downstream they have to do the replication, and the upstream they have to do the replication.
No, you don't have to do it over there. See, remember in the mass data load, when you will do this particular activity, within that particular activity only, what will happen is like automatically the supply will get replicated into upstream as well as downstream over there. But remember, you
Okay.
have to perform different steps over there with the SLP mass data load.
Okay. So meaning, if I understand correctly, you're saying that when I'm doing the mass data loads from ERP, I will do the replication of supplier
Yeah,
as it is. Then the system,
exactly.
Ariba system will take.
Because you have to remember, in ERP, do you have upstream and downstream solution? No,
We don't
right?
have. Yeah.
So basically, if you create a supplier in ERP, can you say this supplier will only take part in sourcing project and contracting, in RFI or RFQ or contract over there, but cannot take part in PO?
No.
Exactly. So that means any supplier from ERP, when you are bringing it to Ariba, by default, they should be copied into upstream and downstream both. But if you're not doing it, then it is being done wrongly over there.
So okay. So now, that is why I'm coming to. So then, how this qualification process extra will replicate to downstream? So this scenario can only happen if I am creating a new supplier in my Ariba system itself.
No. Why? Because your integration means what? Your data must be in sync over there. So whenever you're copying the pre-existing supplier from ERP, they can take part in your P2P process. They can take part in your sourcing and contracting. That means by default, they can take part in upstream solutions as well as downstream solutions in Ariba. So when you're replicating this pre-existing supplier, but if you just copy in upstream, if you don't copy in downstream, so that means what will happen is like none of the PO can be created in Ariba buyer, and it can be replicated, can't be integrated with ERP over there. So your process will totally fail.
No, Manoj, what I'm saying is, let's say if I'm having 100 suppliers in ERP system, I replicate initially to Ariba. So once I replicate these 100 suppliers, these 100 suppliers are both in the upstream and the downstream. Okay.
Yeah.
And since the suppliers are already well negotiated and everything is done, then I don't need extra qualification process.
No. Who said? No. Qualification by default means you have to do it. Otherwise, how come this particular supplier will be done in downstream?
But as you said that these 100 suppliers will be.
SLP mass data load means what? You will be working on the request registration and qualification process in a bulk of with a bulk of suppliers over there, but there will be different steps involved over there. Why? Because you're not working with one supplier, you're working with bulk suppliers over there. So that is your activity in your SLP mass data load. So yes, every request registration qualification is mandatory process, whether you're creating any new supplier in Ariba or whether you are creating any pre-existing supplier from ERP into Ariba over there. You need to do three of this activity.
But client may say that since I am already having a pre-qualification with all the 100 suppliers, for example, then why do I need to go through this qualification process again for Ariba?
No, client will not do this thing. See, we as a functional consultant will do this activity during our data cutover activities, right? So that particular thing, that is our solutioning part. See, the thing is like that particular decision is not from the client side. This is a decision from our side over there. That's the first thing. Second thing is like client will basically say this particular supply should be available in upstream and downstream both. That is their requirement. How you're going to design this solution, that's up to us or up to the Ariba functional consultant, right? So this particular thing is basically designed by Ariba in such a way. So that is why we have to use this particular thing. So
No,
that's a solution part.
But the suppliers are coming into the interaction here when we are going for request registration and qualification.
Remember. See, that is why I'm saying that. See, just if you want the answer yes or no, yes, I can give it. But if you want to understand this thing, we have to go through this whole SLP mass data load. So unless and until we are not going into this SLP mass data load within that particular thing, so you will not understand. So this is what I said at the beginning only over there, that to give an answer yes or no, yes, I can do it. But to make you understand, I have to fully explain this SLP mass data load, and that I think is basically almost like a 1.5 hour session.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, let me turn the question here. So let's say
Yeah.
if the client says, I don't want to go to take SLP license for Ariba. I don't want to take the SLP module of Ariba, but they want Ariba upstream and downstream both
Okay,
for their
so in that case,
RFP process.
you are just going to go ahead with this mass data load. Just a moment, where is their mass data load? See here.
Mhm.
So you have to
So then
just work
only,
with one mass data load only.
okay. So then in that case, how this ANID will be then integrated for these vendors? Is there a
ANID
separate process?
basically, no, it's not a separate process. So basically, when you will onboard this particular supplier through this mass data load, all of them will basically get a mail. They have to register in Ariba network. Once they register, automatically their Ariba network ID will come over here in Ariba buyer.
Okay, okay, understood. Otherwise, they have to go through the SLP process. Okay.
Not otherwise, it's not otherwise, and I highly doubt this thing, because right now if you go over there, all the clients basically will choose SLP. Whenever most of the client will go for the upstream plus downstream, and they will choose SLP. Why? Because SLP basically simplifies this process, and they will have a lot of control over supplier rather than going ahead without SLP over there. So previously there was one module which is called as SIPM. Now SIPM is basically obsolete. SLP is the only module which is used for onboarding the supplier over there. Now if you don't want to use that particular thing, what will happen is like you have to depend on ERP to control all the suppliers. Now in this case, what will happen is like there will be data redundancies. So that is why most of the client, whenever they get a what you can say solution presentation from SLP point of view, they are very much interested in implementing SLP. So chances are, there are high chances that whenever you go for any implementation or in support project right now, which has happened during the last 2.5 years, and for the upcoming futures also, you're going to see SLP almost everywhere.
Okay, okay. And Manoj, will be covering CPI, cloud platform integration as well?
CPI is basically part of your S4 HANA over there. Basically, what you wanted to ask is CIG, Cloud Integration Gateway.
No. CIG, I know. There is a
Yeah.
CPI also for third-party integration. Like for example,
No,
for invoice
basically
process.
it's not actually CPI. What you wanted to say over there is like basically there are Ariba APIs over there, right? Ariba APIs implementation. So Ariba APIs basically we cannot do that particular thing because it has to be done with the help of uh, Java developers over there. So that particular thing is like Java coding, which is required to be done over there. So those particular things are basically handled by the Java developers, right? We will not handle those coding part over there.
Okay, that is done through CPI.
Yeah. So that particular thing. So there will be a separate portal over there. Once you get that particular separate portal, that portal is like APIs, Ariba application programming interface will open up over there, and the Java developer has to write the code within that. We will not ever see that particular thing. Why? Because even if we see it, we will not understand anything over there.
For example, there are budget checks when creating the purchase requisition.
Yeah.
So budget checks done against the backend ECC or backend S4HANA.
Budget check is basically part of your web services configuration, right? It's not CPI.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's not CPI. So basically, this is a web service configuration, and web service configuration by default is part of your CI9 as well as CIG. By default, it is covered within this thing, and we will see this thing. So this is basically web services configuration. This is not CPI. CPI basically, as I said, Ariba API's concept over there. Ariba API's concept will be handled by the Java developer. We will just tell them, okay, this is the logic. They will write the code within that particular portal, within the what you can say like. The Java coding over there. But this particular web services check or some real-time budget checks and all those things, these are part of your web services configuration that we are going to see anyhow over here in our sessions.
Okay. Okay. And what about Manoj, the cloud connector concept, the location
CI9.
ID,
CI9.
location IDs, etc. Okay, that will come
No,
under.
not location. Basically, cloud connector means CI9 over there. So that is why I said CI9 versus CIG both.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Manoj. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Ashish. Yeah. Iraj, can we move on to next participant, please?
Yeah, Manoj, yeah, there were certain doubts over there. So I want to make it clear to all the participants here. Apart from the folders which I have shown you separately, guys. So these are the, there are certain documents like which are called like Ariba latest documents here. So in which you see like we are just let me show you one configuration guide so that you'll get the clarity like how deeply we are covering, means like how much we are covering in CIG and this one. So you can see, guys, so this is the document which is being prepared by Manoj here, okay, in which like we are going to see everything. These are the complete steps involved in the integration aspect. So this is also been going to be shared with you guys. So in which like we are going to see not only the steps, but also you can see the relevant screenshots over there. So which type of configurations you are going to do and how you are going to manage those things in ECC side and as well as cloud connector side like SAP Ariba side, sorry, CIG side. Okay, yeah, you can see all the configuration, everything is there very step by step here with all proper screenshots. We have made it available over there. So this is something like a manual for the CIG configuration. So this is a very important document which also are going to be shared with you. So not only this one, so other documents like mass data loads document is there separately for this. So even CIG installation document is there, CIG standard configuration is there. So there are so many documents which are going to be shared with you, and all the documents, let's say for example, if I'm opening any of the document like contract management here in upstream side, I just want to show you. So these are the all the documents which will be there in detail. So these will be very much helpful for every one of you, so that like upstream, let's say for example, let's talk about reporting for example. Okay, yeah. So reporting also we do have everything in detail, like a very precise document, 44 pages only. And one more thing I want to highlight here is like these are very latest documents. Okay, and these documents are very difficult to get it anywhere. You can't search it in Google and you'll get it. So this is, you need to have a connect.ariba login to download this one. So we have downloaded these documents and made it available exclusively for our training participants so that they'll get more benefit. Same thing with upstream, downstream also the same thing. And also we are covering guided buying also here. So guided buying also one of the topic which we'll be covering here as well. So this document is also available, and all these are very latest documents here. Okay, and these documents will also be shared with every one of you. And not only this one, we do have all project related documents, like what are the best practices, okay, and also functional configuration template. Okay, how you're going to write it, means like design, means like document a functional configuration, okay, for a specific client, and all these things which are very hectic in doing the documentation. So these are also available here. And business requirement workbook, all best practices documents are made it available. These are the project documents, like what kind of documents you're coming across. These are also going to be shared with you, everyone. Okay, yeah. So that's it, guys. So is there anyone else like who are having any more queries, guys? If you're having any queries, please raise your hands. Even there are certain repetitive questions also, you can raise your hands. We are open to take any question. And there are certain queries here, Manoj, in chat window. If you like,
Okay. Yeah.
does
Ariba does
take
take care of version management. Ariba does take care of version management both from a transactional document point of view as well as from a configuration point of view. You will see that particular thing whenever we are working with any transactions, different versions is getting generated over there. Okay, and the current most active version will be used basically for all the things. Similarly, for our configuration also, you will see we can create different versions. That means the last version which is activated over there, once we go into the edit mode, a new version will get created, and when we will activate it, the second version will become activated rather than the first version. So yes, it is also present over here in Ariba also.
Yeah. So there is one more question. I'll just read it for you. Okay. Are table important? Akshay, so are table important? I'm not clear with this question. So there are
I
no
think, I
concept of
think, I
table,
think,
right?
I think, yeah, she is asking about the database tables. So yes, database tables are important, but not important over here in Ariba. Why? Because this is not an on-premise solution. So since it's not a on-premise solution over there, we do, we won't know what is the table name over there at all. Okay, so that is why the concept of tables, remembering the table names and the table fields, it's not of use. Why? Because we will never get access to that particular thing, like AC16, AC16N, AC11. These things we will not basically get access at all. This access is only allowed for the Ariba engineering team. That means Ariba employees who work in the Ariba engineering team, they will have that thing, but we will not have that access, neither the client, neither anybody from the service provider team. So that is why remembering the table names and all those things is not possible at all in Ariba. So it's not of much important.
Is the planned company code data available in upstream while creating contract?
Okay, so first of all, remember over here, company code, yes, it will be available. Plant, it is not required. Why? Because plant basically we will cover in our downstream over there. Remember, these particular things, basically company code, plant, GL account, cost centers, all these things, these are generally assigned to the buyer profile over there. That means buyer attribute over there. So once a buyer gets this particular attribute assigned within their profile, so whenever they are creating a transactional document, automatically it will come over there. But remember, most of this thing, cost center, GL, these particular things are downstream specific data. So when they will create this PR, from there PO will get created automatically. This thing is going to be transferred into transactional document from the buyer profile only. Exactly.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Manoj. Yeah, guys, if you are having anybody having any queries, please raise your hands. Otherwise, we can conclude the session for the day. And the next session is going to be on 1st of December. Sorry, 1st of August. So, Ashish, yeah.
I think there's one question from Ahmed over here. Do you have a master data like on-premise vendor? See, basically, vendor means basically supplier. Yes, almost the data you can say almost it will be same, but certain variation will be there in the process over there. Similarly, materials on the other hand, basically yes, it will be present, but in a different way over there. So similarly, remember, as I said in the beginning of our session, I was basically talking about products. Why? Because product basically means materials and services over there. So why I was saying this thing? Because I think all of you will basically ask me, Manoj, what is about direct procurement and indirect procurement? Why? Because most of the consultant, they think direct procurement means material procurement, indirect procurement means service procurement over there. But in Ariba, the definitions are quite different. So that is why I wanted for all of you to remember the product basically means materials and services over there, and there is no concept of document type within transactional document. But if you look at the master data, yes, you do have all this particular data present within the CSV file.
Yep.
Pricing configuration. So I think on this part, remember, we are going to see the tiered pricing concept over here. But remember, tiered pricing is generally captured in the contract compliance. Before that also it will be captured, but ultimately within the screen as well as in the database level, we are going to capture the tiered pricing within the contract compliance itself. Yeah. Ashish, can you please go ahead with your query?
Yeah, Manoj. So it's just a follow-up question about the contract thing. Like you mentioned that plant data is not available in the upstream. So my question is, like in ERP on SRM, generally the contract for the contract company code plant is the mandatory attributes which are required to be used as a source of supply. Now, if the plant data is not there, then how this will be
It's a very
used
good
as a
question
source?
over there. Yeah, it's a very good question over there. So if when you are going to do the configuration over here for integration, remember, try to think on this part. Many Ariba consultants say that whenever we are using the contract, we will use the contract where? We are creating the contract in upstream, and then we are using the contract compliance to move the contract from upstream to downstream. So can you move the contract into ERP? Think on this particular part. Why? Because if you say yes, I can move the contract into ERP, so in ERP you're consuming the contract, and downstream also you're consuming the contract. So contract value by default is $1 million. $2 million you have basically used for that particular contract. So always remember, when you're using contract compliance over there for the contract, automatically contract will move into downstream. So you will have the replication at a PO point of view, not from a contract point of view. That is what which you will see in H2P process over there. But if you look at only upstream, now here, if you are having only upstream over here, so what will happen is like, you will remember in this particular integration, what will happen is like Ariba will by default provide a default plant over here. Why? Because in that case, plant will not be available in your Ariba. Why? Because downstream is not there. Your client is only taken upstream over there. So that is why always remember, in the standard integration, what Ariba will do is like Ariba will basically give a logic over there automatically in the integration. Not Ariba actually, this is basically the add-on software which will be implemented on the ERP side. That particular software will basically give a default plant over there, and it will get created. So in this way, generally things happens over there. So you have to remember the process, the scenario plays a very important role. We cannot assume this particular thing will happen over there. Why? Because till now, I think most of you were thinking that through contract compliance, we will move the contract from upstream to downstream, as well as copy this contract into our ERP as well. But it is never going to happen like that in your real life project.
So Manoj, does that mean when the contract compliance process is used, at that time we introduce plant somewhere in that particular contract? Because
within the
otherwise,
contract compliance itself, you will introduce the plant.
Yes.
And it will come from where? It will come from the buyer profile. So whenever you are creating a contract compliance, you have to, whenever you will create it from your profile only, the plant is automatically going to get assigned at the contract level over there.
But then in that case, that contract will be used, let's say a buyer belonging to plant 1000. Okay. If that buyer, let's say buyer ABC is their buyer who belongs to plant 1000. Now he does the contract compliance. Then he can,
now
any
now
buyer
this is a
who
very good
belongs,
question. It's a very good question. You will see there is another master data in Ariba downstream, that is purchasing unit. See, in ERP, generally plant plays an important thing, but in Ariba will say purchasing unit plays a very important thing over there. Not plant, not company code, not purchasing organization, not purchasing group. So you will see that is why in downstream, when we will go over there, we'll ask what is purchasing unit. And most of you will say purchasing unit is equal to purchasing organization or purchasing group. Actually, it is not. So in Ariba downstream, everything when it is basically designed, it is designed based on the concept of purchasing unit. So in the purchasing unit, this has to be designed by the functional consultant based on the client's input. Okay, and once you have designed it over there, then you have to assign it to each of this particular user level. Even though plant is coming over there, remember in Ariba downstream, the group of user, actually why we use plant and company code, to basically to segregate a group of buyers, right, or purchasers.
Right.
So basically the segregation in Ariba downstream will happen from the purchasing unit point of view, not from the plant over there. Now I cannot basically go into too much on the purchasing unit, because he will not see any purchasing unit over there, because it is highly technical in nature. But I will say over there, plant is one of the parameter for determining a purchasing unit, but there are also a hell lot of other parameters which will also decide the purchasing unit.
Okay. So basically purchasing unit plays a key role in Ariba for the creation of the purchase order, for the contract to be used as source of supply in the downstream.
Exactly.
So as many purchasing units are assigned, if there are multiple purchasing units are assigned to while doing the contract compliance, so all those purchasing unit buyers can consume that particular contract, as a source supplier.
Now, this is a thing again. What will happen is like the concept of purchasing unit is not so simple. Why? Because within the purchasing unit also you will have parent and child purchasing unit over there. So this particular relationship you have to design. So that is why I said it's a part of the solutioning designing process. So that is what we have to learn within the purchasing unit. Then only we can say that okay, we are ready to go ahead with our solutions. So these are the things which you have to do over there. So that is why I said, like whenever we are learning or basically transitioning from ERP to Ariba over there, most of the things is like we are going to learn it theoretically, but in practically what will happen is like it will be a totally different thing. Now all of you are coming ahead with the concept of purchasing unit, you're understanding what is the meaning of purchasing unit and why purchasing unit is important. But if you go to any Ariba theoretical books over there, purchasing unit will be just a half a page of thing out of 1,000 pages. Yeah, but it is, those particular thing we do cover in our sessions, but remember one after another, so that we should be sim in a very simple way we should make everything digestible, and then we should raise the complexity step by step. So that is why you can say like today is basically, you can say this is the initiation which happened in our demo overview session. Then from session 1, session 2, session 3, what will happen is like you will see it's a simple sessions only, but the complexity in each session will be rising. Session 2 will be a little bit more complex than session 1. Session 3 will be much more complex compared to session 1. Like this will happen over there.
Okay, Manoj, thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Ashish.
So all right, guys, so thank you so much, and I hope like everyone of your queries have been answered very properly. Yeah, Ahmed, you are having some query? Yeah, please go ahead, Ahmed.
Sorry, Manoj, on the once we have got the goods invoice received and following to it for the payments, are we going to integrate with finance for the AR part?
AR?
Sorry, AP part. Accounts payable.
AP. So basically, yes, remember in that particular thing, this is a particular point of view, this is a very important question over there, because you have to remember in Ariba Pay, when you will use the Ariba Pay to do the payment, only the supplier payment will happen, but finance posting will not happen over there. So that is why we will always do the payment over there. We will integrate the payment option within ERP. That means whenever we are carrying out the whole process, procurement process in ERP, the payment will happen in ERP and the posting will automatically happen over there. Only thing which will happen in Ariba is the status update, whether the payment has been successful or it has been failed over there.
So is the payment document being posted back in FI as is used for integration with finance?
No. See, remember what will happen is like what we are going to do is like in our normal projects, when the IR has been done, okay, then what will happen is like we are going to trigger an integration event. Within the integration event, what will happen is like the payment information will be sent to the ECC over there. Payment will happen as a batch payment over there in ERP. FI posting will happen, and then the status update from our ERP system to Ariba will come over there with the help of another integration event, and it will update the status. That means whether the payment has been done, on what date the payment has been done, if it is failed or rejected over there, this information will come to our Ariba over there. So this is basically part of the integration event which we have to configure over there. There will be different web services over there. We have to basically activate it over there. Once it has been activated, then only it will work properly.
So in that case, the actual integration is the configuration for the actual integration is something different than the event triggering part.
No. Event triggering, see, the thing is like, remember, you have to do the configuration in two things. One is in Ariba system, another is in ERP system, right? Both of the two things you have to do it over there. So triggering also, you will basically do it. First of all, how this particular triggering will happen for transactional data, it will happen automatically. That's the first thing. Second thing is like, when this particular data will be moved, generally after the transactional document has been posted. That's the first thing. Second thing is like, generally after what duration the data will move from one system to another, it will depend on your configuration. That means how you're scheduling your job to run.
Okay. And all those configurations will be covered in our course.
Exactly. So that is what I said over there. Remember, there is two integration over there, not one integration. Why? Because you have to do the configuration from ERP side as well as Ariba side. So both of these two things we have to see. Yeah, and we will see that thing.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. So if anyone are having any more queries, you can even still connect to me. I hope like every one of you are having my mobile number with you, whether for any technical part or any the topics what we are covering. Also, you can connect to me directly. Okay, we'll be very happy to help you out. All right then. So if you are keen to enroll for the entire course, you can connect to our business relationship executives. They will be helping you out for the further process. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate all of your patience, and it's a very interactive and very good session. And thanks a lot, Manoj, for your knowledgeable
And
sharing.
hey Raj, one thing I think you forgot to I think mention it over there. It's actually a full joint effort over there, right? Your effort, mine effort, and all our BID's effort over there. So it's a whole effort of the team. It's not a single person's effort.
No, because I really, we really appreciate and praise your knowledge on the subject and the grip in the subject. And we know, like, you are a, solution architect, so definitely you can answer the questions like very smoothly. Yeah, that's a very amazing thing. Thank you so much, Manoj. I have
Not
picked
only
my.
that over there, but Eraj and to all the participants, remember it's not actually one person, guys. Actually, the whole team is working very hard over there. So you can see this particular result over there in our sessions.
Yeah, so we took
Exactly.
enough of efforts to design the contents as well here, so that each and everything should be covered properly, and there should not be any gaps once you are on board on any project or you are appearing for any interview. So that's the thing. So I have pinged my number over there in the chat window for every one of you guys. So if you are having any queries, you can reach me out on a direct call or on WhatsApp as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Manoj.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Eraj. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.